Now that we got out of the way, my name is Trey Roberts, and I'm here to discuss the importance of communication and why it's crucial. Why do we need to communicate in the first place? But before I get into that, I wanted to show you two concerning graphs over the last 6 years about how we communicate and how it's been declining. The first graph is shown during COVID, and how people have been feeling more anxious, more neutral, more numb. And that's not how we should be feeling, but it is. And the shift from going, hey, how are you doing today? To sending a quick text, hey, what's up? And that's not how we're wired. Even introverted people, they still need some sort of familial connection or an in-person talk or just some sort of video call, something. But the fact that all communication had been moved online, how we learn, how we talk, and the big shift in how we learn and talk but with one another has changed, and that's very concerning. And the second graft is by the National Library of Medicine. This was during COVID and towards the ending of COVID. As you can see, online communication still going up, and the in-person communication going down. And that's concerning and more depressing than anything. And the fact that it continues to climb, how we move to talk online, how we argue online, rather than just discussing in person. It's very disheartening and concerning. The only 6 years, 6 years, and we're losing connection between you, I, and others, people we see on a daily basis. We don't even know their names. They'll just pass by, try to make conversation to someone in the grocery store. Just say, hey, I like your clothes or something like that. They'll just stare at you. Just look at you like, why are you talking to me? It is depressing and concerning that we don't know how to talk to one another. We can't communicate. And that is a big issue. Why is communication important? It's important in all sorts of relationships in our life, from family to lovers to friends, coworkers, people we just meet at the grocery store, maybe on a daily basis, a cashier, all sorts of communication. And that's important. It's how we talk and how we learn. And how do we further it? Being the second point, how we further our relationship with one another. And if we can't talk to one another, how are we supposed to know what we're feeling, thinking, even just like a simple hand gesture, stuff like that? How do we know if we can't see it or even just feel it in person? And just even online communication, it's you don't see the heart and passion behind it. You just see words and try to process it. Because reading something rather than hearing it and feeling the tone is two different things. And the third point being isolation. We all know how it is to feel alone and not being able to talk to someone, even if it's just online. You could talk to someone online and say, hey, man, what's up? But do they care? Someone might ignore your message. And knowing that you have to send a message or just try any sort of means to talk to someone online, like there's billions of people on the planet, and we have to rely on online communication. That's the concerning part. We don't know how to talk. There's so many people around us, and we have to ask for support to talk. We have to go to online, social media, games. We have to move online to talk. We can't even go outside anymore because no one cares anymore. It is sad because we can't communicate. We don't know how to talk. We can't talk. We're too scared to talk. And myself included. People I'm very close with, I stutter a bit. And it's the fear of losing whatever sort of connection I have, for example, with me. And people are scared of being genuine anymore because if you take someone's online communication now, what does it do? It leaves us like this, stranded, alone, both physically, mentally, in our head. We all have been in a station like this, just stationary, numb. And it's very concerning. I bet you have felt alone at times, being like, why, like even during the period of been around in 2020 or so, why can't I just go outside anymore? A whole pandemic and everything like that, it's just numbed us a lot. And we don't know how to talk. We, we just have forgotten that part. And I think it's a dead art or a dying art that we need to learn how to talk again. But the key takeaway is if this hasn't signified an importance of why we need to talk, think about the future. If it's this bad, think about how bad it'll be the next 20 years. No one's going to know how to talk. They're going to be in fields, doctor fields, policing, stuff like that. How we're going to communicate? How can a dispatcher talk? How can we communicate with a doctor? What's wrong? How do we make friends? Everyone's going to have a phone out, a voice call. How do we talk? How do we get to know each other? That's the key takeaway of this. Communicating is how we solve problems, get to know one another, how we fix sorts of things. But that is my key takeaway on communicating and why it's very, very important for us. Thank you for your time.